Okay, welcome to the BIFIS podcast series. This is the first, hopefully, of many really good sessions with guests invited to BIFIS headquarters here in Essex. Today we are talking to two really important people, a very good long-standing friend of mine and BIFIS member number one, who's been here from the very beginning. Alan Travers has got a really important story to tell, and if you've got some time, whether you put this on in the car or you spend some time watching this when you've got a bit of downtime, then I would say if this is a podcast you're going to watch, or if there is going to be a podcast, this is the one. Also joining me today is Tom from M&L Insurance up in Cambridge to talk about some incredibly important coverage that's really relevant to Alan and his story. So join us very shortly for this incredible piece of history. Welcome to the first BIFIS podcast. Today we're talking to Alan about his experience over the last few years. We'll sort of deep dive into his background and sort of what brought him here with us today. It's been a really interesting story and one that has kind of led to a really great relationship that we've set up with Tom and his business, and one that I think that the industry needs to know about. We're going to be covering some fairly delicate topics today, Alan. Is that fair to say?
It's fair to say, mate. Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
but away on, I'll answer them.
but we're doing things that probably blokes tend not to do, which is talking about stuff that's quite sensitive and personal, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's just get on with it. But before we get into the sort of nitty gritty of why you're specifically here today, let's just talk a little bit about you, how we met, and God, we're going back a few years now. But tell us a little bit about your career then. So
started off back in the day.
So you're a kitchen fitter essentially. That's
yes,
what
I
you
am.
would class yourself.
I started off doing all bits and pieces when I was 17, 18, helping mates, pals out weekends, odd days during the week.
Why kitchen fitting? Why wasn't
really established as in going in the kitchen fitting to start off with. I was just kind of putting my hands to anything I could earn extra money out of.
Yeah, of course.
I had worked in a push bike shop, and the days that I had off or weekends I had off, I went and helped pals out.
Fair play.
And something changed. There was a big fire. I had to change my job and living. So I just reached out and I was doing all sorts, bedrooms, bathrooms,
and before you
fireplaces, and before I knew it, I was working with a guy who had a contract with MFI back in the day.
Oh, that sounds interesting. It's a name that I've not heard for a few years.
And I started working with him.
He's sort of his boy, as it would be termed in the trade, right?
Yeah, it was. And I was doing probably 80% of the work in the end.
Oh, gosh.
Didn't really sit well.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, yeah, I decided to venture out on my own. And
that's not unusual though, is it? You know, your protege always kind of wants the hot seat at some point. And
yeah, well, I just thought it was time. I just took a gamble, got a loan, approached yourself at the time, see if I can get my own contract, prove your steps, and really
off you go.
That's the past, really, and then just venture forward from that.
So, in the interest of transparency, then I've known you for a few years, and I guess there's been a friendship that's built over those years.
Yes, mate, there is.
And, you know, there's probably a few installers that from back in the day that friendship has continued, but you're one of a very sort of small number because you've always seemed to be there one way or another.
Yeah, you just kind of established from meeting once a week or once a fortnight on jobs and installs to popping out to have a coffee or something to eat.
More of a beer back then, to be fair.
I'm having a party, pop round, or yes, you fancy having a pint, and one pint leads to several. But
well, we
there was a friendship. There was a friendship and a family established out of it.
Yeah, and yeah, that's absolutely right, mate. And as I say, there's just a small number of people, you know, installers that I've worked with over the years that I've managed to sort of build that rapport with, and you know, it's been great. We've had a good time over the years at many parties and in various coffee shops,
countries.
Anyway, we won't go into that. But yeah, it's fair to say that in the interest of transparency, we've built a friendship, and that's something that I've valued over the years for sure. But I think significantly when I disappeared from the glitzy world of MFI, if you can call it glitzy, and set up a small organisation. It was an idea at the time.
Yes, it was. Yep. Conversation we kind of.
It was. Yeah. I mean, I spoke to you.
You had an idea, and
you
said, "Okay, I'm going to throw at it and see what happens."
And I bounced it past you by, as I recall, those people who were around me, fitter wise, I bounced it by you and said that, look, I've got this idea of an institute. What do you think? And you was really supportive of it, I remember.
Number one member.
You're the first member.
First member.
Yeah, and there's been several...
Do me a favour, if I throw this idea out there...
Yeah. Will you get behind it?
Will you get behind it? So yeah, a handful of us did, and yeah, my membership is number one on the board.
There you go, mate. That's incredible. And it's incredible because 20 years we celebrate in this year. In 2026, we're 20 years old, which 20 years has flown. I don't know, how old are you, Tom?
It's come up to 30 next week. Yeah.
Okay, so you're still fairly young.
Okay, yes.
That brings me pleasure. Yeah, cheers for that, mate. But no, it's like,
Tough paper round.
it's tough paper
Cheers,
round.
yeah.
But no, it is like 20 years has absolutely flown, and it's been one hell of a journey, and it's been absolutely reliant on relationships and people, and building reputation. And I have to say, it took people like yourself to step forward when there was nothing, when it was just a concept, an idea.
An idea.
So late 2022, you said about October, wasn't it, right? So what happened?
September, October time.
What changed?
Bowel habits changed. I was regular as clockwork, not going into any too gruesome details, but as you do before you go to work. Working in other people's houses, you don't really want to have to share their facilities too much. So you kind of get your body, I've got my body into a process over the years where you're kind of regular as clockwork. Things started to change over a period of week or two.
What does that mean?
I was going to the toilet a lot more.
Right.
So rather than going your general 1 or 2 times a day, it was 4, 5, 6 times a day. I was waking up of an evening, I was having to go while I was at customers' houses, or I was having to come home from the job and try and make it home to go to the toilet, because depending on facilities and access. So I went to the doctors.
Good.
Had a blood test.
And like from those initial sort of feelings of something's not right in yourself to the point that you went to the doctors, how long did you give it before you went, I've got to go see the doctor?
It was a maximum a couple of weeks, but it was a week.
Fairly quick.
I was fairly quick. I know my body.
Because people hold on to that.
Yeah, well, that's what they said. Some people just shy it off, take no notice of it.
Bang some emoji, that sort of
Yeah, something's going on, or okay, I've eaten something funny, and we'll just blame that. But when you kind of regular clockwork over probably a 10, 15, 20, 15, 18 year period, it was, no, something's wrong here, something's not right. So I took myself to the doctors.
Well, I think, thank heavens you did, because...
In respect of,
I mean, it could be different, right?
Yeah, the circumstances could have been different.
What happened next? You go to the doctors, doctor says, take an Imodium.
You've eaten something funny, go away and leave yourself for a bit. And I was like, no, that's not right. I said, I want to have some tests done.
So you pushed it at that point?
I pushed it at that point.
Good.
So I pushed, they did, okay, well, here's a pot, do a stool sample. We'll arrange for a blood test within the next 3 to 5 days. And then we'll take the postman from there and see what your results came back. 10 days later, results came back and they wasn't happy. So they sent me to the hospital for an appointment for cameras and scans.
Can I just jump in there? At this stage, did you have any other symptoms other than the more frequent visits to the toilet?
No.
Pain or anything?
No, nothing, which I should have had. I should have had headache. The list of stuff that they say in the circumstances of where you are, you're supposed to bleed when you go to the toilet.
None of that?
Okay.
None of that. You're supposed to have stomach cramps, back pains, headaches, nausea, sickness, certain foods you can't tolerate. It was just me going toilet more.
And did you feel well in yourself? Did you feel well in yourself, other than sort of the weirdness of
I felt sluggish because of obviously going to the toilet so much. So I suppose it was playing on my mind, but it didn't stop me doing anything. I carried on working. I carried on going out. I was still eating and drinking as normal. There wasn't any change in anything apart from at the time I never took much notice of what was going on with myself. But then when you look back at some pictures back at the time, the area I was kind of ill, you can see a slight difference in your eyes and your face. But I just thought that was just because I was
work and
everything else. I was doing a lot. I was 16, 17 hours a day, 6 days a week.
Grafting, building. That's what you're doing, building your life at that point, aren't you? Okay, so you're going to have your test, something's not quite right. Then what happens?
I waited for an appointment. They did a camera up and down.
Yeah, I suspect that was the nicest of experiences, right?
First time for me, really. I've never had touch wood. I've never been to the hospital, never been to ask or anything like that. So I didn't really know what to expect. But if that's what they want to do, I want to find out what's going on. Yeah. So, I had CT, MRI, body scans, for the check the body. They did cameras, took biopsies, and then I had to wait for results. So over probably a 2-month period, I had other tests and scans.
So all stuff going on.
All stuff going on because they want to check everything. Because the levels within the body that they tested just wasn't anywhere near where they should be.
So based on that timeline, we're now in December.
Yeah,
Christmas.
early December, coming up to Christmas, party time, food and drink and everything else. I was...
How are you feeling at that
slightly,
point?
I worked up until the 20th of December of that year. But something just wasn't still quite right. It'd been quite a period now of what was going on. I was probably going to the toilet about 10 times a day.
So
waking up, it was getting more frequent.
Yeah.
But not as much. You know, you'd go to the toilet, you could, you know. But you didn't really, I got to wait for the results, right? So I just got to sit there and wait for a phone call.
Yeah.
Or an appointment. I get a phone call on the 29th of December, 2022.
Who's that from, the consultant?
Someone within the hospital area to say that we're ever so sorry that we've done a biopsy and you do seem to have bowel cancer. We can get you in for an appointment on the 30th of January.
Yeah.
So the following day, it kind of ruined New Year's. So New Year's went out the window.
Yeah.
Off our trip to Bart's Hospital to see what was going on.
How do you compute that then? So you get a phone call out of the blue, all right, you know something's not quite right, but blimey, that's
I was on my own at the time.
Yeah.
Nobody with me.
So this is 2022 as well. So like going back then, we got COVID, you know, there's all sorts happening now.
So I'd only just got over COVID.
Yeah.
Due to work periods, I was 7.5 months with no work. I'd only just tried to get my feet back on the ground again after sorting all your finances and that out, and then this come and wiped me out. I just didn't know where I was, didn't know what was going on. So I went to the appointment. They said, okay, we need to do chemotherapy. That lasts for a period of 3.5 months.
Was that straight away, was it?
They said the reason we've rushed this appointment to get you in the day after your phone call is because we could start it the 19th of January. So within 3 weeks.
So you stopped working on the 20th of December.
December 2020.
That's your last job before Christmas, typical stuff. And then it stops. And then this takes over your life.
So, you have to go through the process. So they did 3.5 months of chemo, 2 months off. And they still test you and make sure that, see what's going on. Then they said, we're going to do radiotherapy. So I had radiotherapy for 5 weeks. That was every day, Monday to Friday. Backwards and forwards to the hospital.
I think if somebody would have asked me to describe you in a sentence, I probably wouldn't need a sentence, you know, putting all the sort of good mate bit to one side. If somebody was to ask me to sort of summarise Al, I would always say that lad is a grafter. He's not afraid of hard work. He knows what he wants. He goes and gets it, and he don't expect anything from anybody. He just goes and does it. He's a bit of a leader in his own destiny, and that's, you know, that would be the way that I would describe you. But we're now talking about a situation where it ain't in your hands. You're not in control.
I tried to take control of the moment, to put my head in a different space, I suppose, because my main concentration was work.
Yeah.
Wake up in the morning, go to your job, roll in the next one, and have whatever you're doing through that period of the month. I wasn't greedy. I didn't have a multi-team, handful of people around me, and just got on with life. But all of a sudden this was taken out of my control, and I'm in the hands of doctors and nurses and being pinned and pricked like a pincushion.
Yeah.
With finances that you don't know what's happening next month to pay your bills.
Well, I think that's a really sort of salient point. We will come on to that, but I just want to sort of continue the story because there's a little bit more to be said about your journey, really.
Yeah, so chemo, which we passed over.
Yeah.
3.5 months, 2 month gap.
Everyone, we all think we know what is chemo. I think we roughly know what it is, but
it's a drug in the body that they try to put in to reduce cancer cells.
So you go into hospital,
sit in a chair. They stick cannulas in your arm and 2 bags up on a
pump you with drugs.
Stand, and you sit there for 5.5 hours over a day period. While they're flushing your body full of this, whatever the chemical is. But because every cancer is different, the bag has to be made to suit specific to what you have for your cancer. So you have to make that appointment. The bag turns up once you get there.
Yeah.
It's not pre-made and they pull it out.
Not just sitting on a shelf.
It's not just sitting on a shelf. That it's specifically made for what you have to go through. So
yeah.
So that was for.
Does it make you feel ill, Al?
No, it's supposed to.
Right.
So there is a
but you're not
whole
normal.
list. I'm not.
You're not normal.
As a lot of people said, and obviously a handful of mates around me, you could ask anybody.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. You're supposed to lose your hair. You're supposed to lose your appetite. You're supposed to become withdrawn. But yeah, I didn't.
None of that.
No. If anything, hair started to regrow in places on my head and where it started to recess. It was weird. My skin colour started changing colour like I'd been on holiday.
Strange.
And my mates used to laugh because we used to meet up once a week still.
You look healthier than you ever have
done. And they'd go, where you been this week? Like, I've been sat in a chair. Yeah. So that was on a fortnightly basis. You have chemo. Takes you 5 days to get your taste buds back because you lose everything you eat. You have to visualise what it tastes like because it's.
You have to think about it.
Like, I don't like that, but it's like sucking on a penny or a 2p. If you go and play them arcade machines and your hands smell like that, that's the taste you have in your mouth for 5 days.
Is that instant as they start putting it in?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
that's weird in itself.
So then you can't have anything cold. I couldn't have a can of drink out of the fridge. I couldn't have ice cubes.
Why? It make you sick or?
No, you're not allowed intense cold. So it gives you like electric shock through your body. I had to test it. It's not nice. You only do it once.
Oh. So you drink
to get stuff out of the freezer, I put gloves on.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't go and grab a glass bottle.
That is incredible.
It just gives you a static electric shock, and it is like touching.
It just goes. I mean, I dread to think the concoction of drugs and all of that, but to make you feel that way.
Yeah, whatever they were putting in my body to try and reduce the size of this tumour, so to speak. Yeah.
So you did this over 3 months, Al. Was that right? 3 months the chemo?
Yeah, about 3.5 months.
About 3.5 months. And then what happens at the end of that then? Are you having other tests during that, or do they just focus on the chemo?
They check your blood counts and things like that. Yeah. I had to have iron transfusions because I lost 2.5 stone in weight.
Yeah.
Is that just loss of appetite?
No, I still had my appetite, which was supposed to be loss of appetite. But it didn't matter how much I ate, I was still losing weight.
I suspect your body. I mean,
your body's trying to fight.
I'm no doctor, but
your body's trying to fight. Obviously, you become ill, your body fights it, doesn't it? But I had no immune system. So by having chemotherapy, it wipes out your immune system. So I can't be near anybody that gets a cold or.
Well, that's brilliant during COVID, isn't it?
Exactly.
I was about to say,
I did
COVID,
catch.
that's even more difficult.
Which I did catch during the process. I did catch COVID during the process, and I have to bring a medical team. You have to monitor your temperature. They sent me out these tablets that basically killed the COVID instant.
Did it?
Yeah, it did.
I wouldn't mind a couple of packets of them myself over
these tablets were something else.
Yeah.
So because they said your body wouldn't be able to fight it.
Yeah.
And because of the treatment I was on, I couldn't go into hospital. It was a big vicious circle.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just had to carry on through the process. And
so you get your last bag of poison that's poured into you at hospital at the end of this 3.5 months. What happens there then?
So they give you 2 months off.
Yeah.
Because it's still working internal after your last bag. Then they pull me in for an appointment. So I'm thinking, okay, you're going to do whatever you need to do. So they said, we can do a keyhole surgery, go in, cut the tumour out.
So they still got. So this ain't getting the chemo's not getting rid of the cancer.
No. So they did a test, and the chemo didn't shrink the tumour. The tumour was still.
How frequent was the chemotherapy?
Fortnightly.
Fortnightly.
So you'd go in and have your treatment. So my first treatment was the 19th of January 2023. I was in you go in for 5.5 hours. It kind of takes you a week to get over it. Then you have a week clear, so you're back to normality.
Building up some strength, I suppose.
And then you're back again, sitting in the chair again. So that was like that for a 3.5 month period.
Hard.
So which they said should shrink it. Didn't shrink it. We give you 2 months off. They then decided, okay, we're going to call you in and have a chat with a consultant. Then tell me they want to do radiotherapy.
And this was news to you?
Yeah, I wasn't told about the radiotherapy to start off.
Not in no part of the journey?
No part of the journey.
Right.
This is what we got to start. So this was June 2023.
Yeah. So you're about 6 months into this journey.
So I said, how does this work? So they said, you go to the hospital every day.
Still not worked any of this period?
No, can't go back to work.
You can't go back to work?
Told me I could do light duties.
Yeah.
There is no light duties. I'm backwards and forwards.
You're a kitchen fitter.
I run my own business, so I didn't really have it established enough to have people working for me. So I've had to down tools, live off of savings.
I mean, mentally and emotionally, to be able to go back to work while this is going on is another
my head
thing.
My head probably wasn't physically, and my head wasn't in that place. I wasn't feeling myself. Obviously, having the chemo, you're supposed to have all these side effects. You read the sheet, you wouldn't have the medication. But I didn't have any of them. Apart from I didn't have the sickness, I didn't have any of it. I was still going out, probably once or twice a month with my pals. So just having something to eat, they were coming to pick me up, take me out.
Bit of normality.
I wasn't allowed to drive or stuff like that. They take it all away from you.
So radiotherapy
starts Monday to Friday every day, different time slots. That was for 5 weeks.
And what is radiotherapy?
Pinpointing laser, basically, to try and shrink the tumour space or the cancer cells, whatever you've got, because mine was confined within a bowel lining. Mm-hmm. They said it hadn't spread anywhere else, so they could just
good news.
Zap that place and we'll shrink it, go in, keyhole, remove.
Do you think the chemotherapy targeted in a way that didn't become secondary? Do you think, I mean mentally...
Because they said mine was confined, so it was confined in an area. They said it hadn't come outside the bowel line, so it was only within the bowel area. They said everybody's situation is different if it's outside. But yeah, they're supposed to flush the body so the chemical stays within the body, and it won't reproduce itself elsewhere, is what they say the medicine does.
So this is positive news, as positive as it can be.
As positive as it can be. I started 5 days of chemo. I had a bowel blockage. Mm-hmm. Couldn't go to the toilet at all.
I remember,
I had a raised temperature.
You got ill?
I was being rather sick, and I hadn't been sick for anything. I had to go to an emergency hospital. They then tell me that they can't really do anything because of the blockage. I had to have an emergency colonoscopy, basically disconnect your bowel and bring it out of your stomach. So you go into what they class as a bag, rather than actually go into the toilet as normal.
This is a stoma, right? Is it stoma?
Yeah, stoma.
Okay.
So I'm then in hospital for 10 days. Day 10, I get a phone call from the radiotherapy team. Tomorrow morning, day 11, you're being released. You're coming straight to the hospital to continue on your radiotherapy cycle. My head wasn't in the space to do it, but there was no ifs or buts. You've got to continue the process.
It's not in your hands.
Otherwise, the treatment's not working.
Yeah.
So then I did 4.5 weeks radiotherapy.
Are you feeling
straight off the back?
Are you feeling ill at this point? Because obviously the blockage made you feel ill, and you're starting to get symptoms.
Well, I've got something else to deal with. I got a bag rather than getting the sense if you're going to the toilet.
Yeah.
You're not getting that sense anymore.
Strange.
Your body's just out in it.
Yeah.
But I'm still got to carry on the treatments. I've got other things to speak about. I've got to learn how to activate this device and how this device works.
You're getting it from all angles now.
And continue on the therapy. Radiotherapy didn't touch the tumour.
No effect?
No effect at all. So they booked me in for an operation to have keyhole, and this is December 23.
So we're now a year and it's actually 13, 14 months into this, aren't we, from the start?
But they told me it'd be maximum a year back to work.
Back to work, grafting.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
Nah.
Savings are gone. Money situation, can't get help.
We'll come on to that, because that's a really important point.
So that was less of my worries. I had no worries with that. I just had to think about myself, get myself through this, what was going on. Do you know what I mean? It's the end of the day, your life is more important than anything else.
Of course it is.
They then pull me in, try and get me prepped for the operation, sit me down and tell me that they can't do what they want to do, keyhole, because now the tumour has spread.
So that was news as well?
Yeah. Didn't know anything about it.
Wow. So you've gone from, obviously getting the diagnosis, it being dealt with in your own mind, going down a pathway that you thought that, was kind of laid out, and then things just change.
Yeah.
And you're now at a point where...
I'm now January 24.
Yeah.
And they turn around and say, okay, we can't do this now. You're going to have a major operation, which can be more invasive, and we don't know what we're going to find. So
what are you thinking at this point now? Are you thinking, how did you, throughout this whole period, at the beginning, did you feel that I'll get over this, this is just a thing and I'll get over it and it'll be good? Or were there any thoughts in your mind about dying?
There was a conversation I had with a consultant about it when I had to sign the paperwork to say a lot of the treatment and medications can end up with death, being in the title. But I wasn't I shut that off. I tuck that away. I can isolate stuff.
Stick it in a box.
Stick it in a box. Put the lid on.
Yeah.
Move on. Your health is more important.
So you get given this news. It's like a sledgehammer.
March 2024. They say, okay, you're going to have an operation. A lot of paperwork I had to sign. Basically being...
Disclaimers, no doubt.
Death is the end result if things go south. But we now have to remove the tumour and surrounding affecting areas.
And what are those surrounding affected areas?
So my affected areas were part of my bowel.
Yep.
Part of the large and small intestines. Prostate, bladder, nerve endings, blood vessels, reproduction organs.
This isn't a small operation.
No, it's not. 12.5 hours under a knife, 6 weeks in hospital.
But you're done at this point, right? It's gone. We're all good. 6 weeks recovery. Everything's back to normal.
Yeah, that's what they tried to say.
Go on then. What happens next?
I have sepsis in hospital. I have reactions to medication. I have internal infections. I come home. Yeah, life has changed. You can't do stuff for yourself.
Yeah.
You can't wash properly because scars and operations. Yeah, there's a lot removed.
There's a lot
of
going
change.
On. Yeah.
They managed to get rid of the colonoscopy bag as a surgeon in the country who did an operation on me and got rid of one of the bags. So I can now go to the normal toilet, stool-wise.
Yeah.
But as in now, I've got a urostomy for life because I've got no bladder or prostate.
Got it. So this is a permanent fixture of your life. You're
a permanent bag.
You urinate in a bag.
Yes, mate.
Okay. So, but in terms of the cancer, then, so where are we with that? What's happening now?
This is March. What was that? March 24 was when I had the operation. 6 weeks in hospital. I then come out and they say, okay. I think it was the July or the August. We're going to flush your body full of chemo again. Same cycle. To basically clear any other cells. So with the operation, they removed 13 lymph nodes. You've got lymph nodes all over your body, in your armpits, your legs, your backs, all around your intestines. They had to remove 13 of mine just because they were not sure.
Yeah.
Is this standard procedure after the operation? You was made aware of you're going to have the operation, the major operation,
and then we'd have to flush your body. Yeah. Okay. So they did say you'd have to have more chemo. I was like, fine.
No drama for Alan. No,
I've already been through it once. Let's do it again. You know, if you want to flush my body now because it's spread, that's fine. I need this out. I need it clear. I need the all clear. Get on with my life.
You're done with it at this point, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. I want to get back to work. I've got an itch.
Really, is that your thought at the time? I want to get back to work.
Yeah. I'm coming out at the end of this. I'm going back to work. They told me a year. Okay, might now be 2 because we're now in 24.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah, I'll get back on it. I have all the treatments, have all the scans. I have the chemo. 2024. I have scans, November, MRI, CT, all come back clear. They said, right, okay, we've got and done everything, that's fine.
Celebrate.
Yes, I said that. So I said, well, there's a scan missing. I've done my research by now.
You're an expert.
I know what you can do.
This is Alan. Alan has always never been satisfied with what he sees. I imagine you as a kid that used to take your Christmas presents apart just to see how they work.
Yeah. Mum and Dad used to do that.
There's no surprise for me.
No. As this work, I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to rebuild it. I rebuilt it. In some way or other.
It's probably better than when he first got it.
I've got to take it apart.
Yeah.
You said this is November 2024, so this is 2 years after initial diagnosis.
Yes.
Yeah, we're a long way down the track now.
I asked for a PET scan, which is a full body. You lay in a machine, they inject you with a nuclear stuff, and they scan your body from toe to head. Christmas 24, I think this is going to be a big celebration.
Yeah, we're gearing up for this.
We're all geared up for it. I get a phone call mid-December. We found another cancer cell in your back on a lymph node. You need to have treatment. Christmas 24 ruined.
How do you deal with that at that point then?
Same way as I dealt with everything else. My headspace was still in it until I got the all clear from the scans.
You have been very pragmatic throughout this whole process. And this isn't just something you're saying. You've lived your life. I know you have because I've seen it.
So I asked if I've got to have more chemo. You can't have chemo because you've already had it 3 months previous. You're not allowed to have chemo in that close vicinity. So they say you've got to have radiotherapy again over a 4 or 5 week period. I said, I'm not doing that. You need to find another way around this. I'm not doing that again. So January 25, I'm back in hospital again.
Last year? So we're catching up now, aren't we?
Yes,
so
we are coming now.
January 25, what happens?
Radiotherapy.
And off you go. So there was no other way around it. They had to do it.
Yeah. So I got them to up the dose. So they did 3.5 times the original dosage I had over a Monday, Wednesday, Friday of the same week.
Wow.
So I said, just hit me. Hit me with whatever you want to hit me with. I'm not doing a 4-week process.
Let's get this on.
Yes.
How are you feeling after that?
Drained. Mentally, I wasn't sure. But then again, I still didn't have any of the side effects, even though they upped all the dosage. I wasn't sick.
Yeah. Was they surprised
I didn't have
as
any
well with
burns.
that? Was they?
Yeah, the consultant still shocked.
Yeah.
For me coming through, having all the operation and being where I am, they on a rough guideline of how people have had similar things. Not many people have had the operation I've had. But there's only one bloke in the country willing to try to do what they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, to come through after the operation and have all that, and then have another lymph node that was cancerous in 24.
Incredible.
Just wiped me again. So
you get nuked over the course of a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So that was the January. And then as of last week, which I wait for results in February, I'm a year clear of cancer, but still not back to work.
So we're a year down the line now from that momentous news, and that's something we'll celebrate and we'll continue to celebrate because that's the way this is going now. We're all good.
Yes, mate.
What next for Al?
As in,
when you're working, are you going back? What's the plans?
So
you're going to be itching for this.
It took me a year and a half to manage to try and get some sort of help.
Yeah.
They don't fully offer it. There's a lot of forms you have to fill in.
Well, let's start talking about that now, because I think this is, you know, one of the reasons why I was so keen on this podcast was that, you know, we've got, going back to the original point, nobody likes to think about, you know, the worst case scenarios in life. You know, our human nature is to, you know, mainly is to focus on the positives and just crack on. You know, that's what we do as humans, and we don't sit there, especially in our sort of 20s and 30s, we certainly don't think about death much. I mean, this is going to be far from your agenda right now. But, you know, as you start getting older, I mean, I've just had a will done recently, and I'm, you know, writing down what I want in my funeral. And, you know, have I got to that sort of stage in my life now? Well, I think I have. You know, I must have, because I'm doing it. I'm going through this process. And but you don't think about it. And I think in particular, I think if you're in you work for an employer, and, you know, you work for a company, and, you know, you're sitting in this sort of PAYE role somewhere, there's this comfort that there is some mechanism around you to support you through, you know, moments of sickness. But for tradespeople, not. Tradespeople don't think about it. And I remember having conversations with people over the years, tradespeople, about, you know, have you got pensions set up? No. Don't worry about that. I'll worry about that another day. You know, I'll do something. We'll all be all right, you know. And that seems to be the sort of theme of the day. You start breaking that down. Well, what happens if you're ill? You know, what happens if someone turns it off? You know,
I've never been an ill person.
No.
To be out of work.
And
if I got the cold or flu, it was normally over the Christmas period when my body just said, you're overdoing it. You've taken too much time off. I used to have probably a month off over the Christmas and January period because work's quiet and you celebrate and see family and friends.
You just crack on,
You just crack on with it. And I never really took out anything to oversee myself because I wasn't that ill person. In a 20-year period, I could probably tell you on one hand how many times I've been off of work, ill, sick. I've never broken a bone.
Do you have a pension?
No.
Healthcare?
No.
Private medical?
No.
Any provisions whatsoever?
I pay for a Simply Health care thing that gives you little bits back if you go into hospital, stuff like that.
Little cash,
you know, you pay a certain fee every month, and if you go to the dentist or the doctors, they give you 75% of the fee back. But apart from that, no, I've never signed up to anything.
I don't think that's unusual, by the way.
Talking to a lot of my pals, no.
I'm not sitting here thinking, well, he's the idiot here. You know, he's almost got himself to blame for any financial difficulty that's been caused by this catastrophe. But that's not the case. I think most people, I would say, and we'll come on to some statistics in a minute because you'll be better placed to answer some of this stuff. But I reckon, from my experience, that most people won't be planning on that, and you're no different. So all of this happens. You stop working the back end of 2022, and it's now 2026. Zero income from work.
Nothing at all.
How the hell have you survived?
And for this whole process, I assume you've got a mortgage, rent.
Yes.
You got a life.
Mortgage. I'm
that don't go away, does it?
Lucky enough, I had no other debts over my head. I didn't have any loans, any major finances, the van and work van and all that paid off.
To be fair, you have lived your life like that. Yeah.
I was taught like that, brought up like that. You don't want the finance over your head if you don't have to. So I never had it.
Yeah.
So yeah, my parents had to step in and.
You were fortunate enough that they were in a position to do that.
Pay my half of the bills in respect.
And they've been doing that for
3 years. There was charities that say they give you a lump sum, couple of grand here, a couple of grand there. As soon as I applied for it, I wasn't.
Computer says no.
Computer says no.
I think this is a big misconception with government funding alone. So, I mean, even if we look at statutory sick pay, it's £118.25 a week. Maybe a couple of pennies out there for 28 weeks, for a maximum of 28 weeks.
And then you're done.
And then you're done. And you think, if you are employed and you get the full £118 a week, how does that help out? Does it help out much? Does it cover bills?
Yeah.
I'd argue most mortgage rent payments, even if you're paying half, it probably takes up a good large part of that, if not all of it.
If not all of it, yeah.
Be more than that.
And you still have to live.
Yeah.
And after the 28 weeks, like in your scenario where you're out of work for 3 years, where does that put you?
Yeah. So.
And I think it's a misconception when I speak to people and they say there's government funding available when people don't actually know the stats and figures, and it is a big misconception that we have to deal with day to day.
You think you're being you don't think about catastrophes in worst case scenario, but you think if it does happen, well, I'll be all right. Somebody's going to step in and sort me out. But that's not true, is it?
No.
Not to the extent that you need to live your life.
I think these protection policies, you need to take the time. You need to look at your own individual circumstances because everyone's different.
I think, having worked not in the trade but with the trade for so long, and encountering and having relationships with like hundreds and hundreds of tradespeople that are all at different levels, there is a common theme that they don't think about next. What next? Going back to the point that you made earlier, Al, this is just, I'm just focused on the next job and 15 customers that want a piece of me and the last 15 customers that want a piece of me, and all of a sudden you haven't got the capacity to think about it.
Yeah, I think with all walks of life, it kind of relates with everyone thinking about the next opportunity. Yeah. What's next? Well, where can I earn my next pound note?
Of course, yeah.
And being realistic. And when the day's done, when your working day's done, the last thing you're probably thinking about, whether you're going down the pub to have a beer with your mate or you're going home to have a dinner with the missus, or spending some time with the kids or sitting and watching some TV on the sofa, the last thing you're probably thinking about is, I need to sort a life insurance policy out.
Yeah.
That's the reality. And the sad thing is sometimes when we preach the message, my ultimate fear is it comes across salesy. Yeah. Because it's not a sales, it's a service. Yeah. Or essentially we're bridging the gap. So it's a minefield. Because let's be honest, it is a minefield.
Insurance, it's far from sexy. It's not something that not something that interests any of us. It probably does you, to be fair, the father-in-law. But for most people, an insurance policy is just it's a thing that you, in most instances, you have to do. You're forced into doing it. Mm-hmm. But. And you as you're handing the pound notes over, you almost, you hate it. Getting car insurance, I just want the cheap. I don't care what the policy says. Just get me the cheapest policy so I pay the least amount every single month. And I think that's the relationship that most people have with insurance. But insurance is that sort of inconvenience, that costly inconvenience that nobody likes to really think too much about. Until the minute you need it. And then all of a sudden, this is like a lifebuoy that's thrown over the side of a ship to somebody who's potentially drowning. And, I've had car accidents and I say that as if I've had many. I've had one car accident where I've needed to make a claim on an insurance policy, or certainly for them to fight the corner for me. I don't know what I'd done about them. I genuinely don't know. I was getting letters from solicitors. I was getting letters from the other people, and it was horrible. Yeah. Not to the to the level that we've been discussing earlier, Al, but it puts you in a place that you don't want to be in, an uncomfortable place. So insurance policy shouldn't really necessarily be viewed that way. But we need to get ourselves out of this mindset that it's just something that we either have to do or we don't do it, because I think we could all probably do with thinking a bit about the future and what happens if, especially as you get a little bit older, I suppose.
Well, no one can predict the future. No. There's not a perfect time to take out an insurance policy.
No.
No matter what insurance policy you take out, there's never a right time. If there was, you'd be the best insurance company in the world.
Yeah,
if
would,
you could go
sell
take
it
it
at
out
the
a
right
day
time.
before. Yeah, exactly. And
So
especially I go back to these protection policies.
Yeah.
So we do a range of different cover. But my bread and butter was the life insurance, critical illness cover and income protection. That's what I've done for most of my insurance career.
Mm-hmm.
These are viewed as bottom drawer insurance policies. So you ideally want to have the discussion, you want to assess the risk, offer a solution to the risks that you're exposed to,
Yeah.
and put them in the bottom drawer, and hopefully never have to pull that paperwork out and make that phone call.
Yeah.
Because that is when life throws a spanner in the works, when you're pulling them out of the bottom drawer.
You don't want to be doing that.
No,
Yeah. Get that.
but a lot of the problem is that people are doing this themselves sometimes, and they're either underinsured or they're not set up in the correct manner. And what I'd say is whether you use us or any broker in the market.
What do you mean by that? They're like buying stuff online that they don't really know what they're
Yeah,
buying?
so
Not ticking the right boxes.
Yeah, I'd say there's multiple different ways policy can be done incorrectly. Like a big one is actually assessing your own risk. So, for example, if you have a 300k mortgage, you've got 2 children and you're self-employed, we see it a lot where that individual will cover themselves or cover their children, their partner for 300k. So, God forbid, I pass away,
Mortgage
the
sorted.
mortgage is sorted.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's figure out how your 35k a year salary has disappeared out of the household income.
Yeah.
How does the
How about
children and your partner survive month to month? How does that look? Are they then selling the house? Are they then equity release? Are they going down different routes, which again is life changing?
Yeah.
So again, it's assessing risk in the correct manner. And I think we don't charge no fees. We sit with our clients and do this for them and don't charge any fees. So a little bit different to a lot of wealth advisors out there. I know you touched on pensions earlier.
Yeah.
Again, it's a misconception that they're going to I'm going to have to pay them £300, £400 to do this for me.
Yeah.
Our job is to sit with you and make sure you're set up in the right way, rather than you going out there and getting out in the minefield and figuring out a minefield. Yeah.
So in terms of the policies then, so what is it you're offering essentially? Because BIFIS, I identify, and I have to say, Tom, a lot of this was this guy and me understanding what he's been through and having lots of conversations with Al. And, I think, it's typical. It's one of those things that exists, but nobody really talks about it because, we're all focused on the next day or the next week or whatever. But I've been really passionate about this, and for no other reason than, I see risk amongst our ageing workforce, and that is the truth. If we look at statistics here within this industry, construction and with home improvement, like the RMI market, the risk is massive because a lot of people are not covered, don't have provisions for what happens later or next. And that for us, as an industry is a big problem. But for the individuals, and Alan is a good example of this, it's a real problem. So, I was, when the opportunity to speak to you guys about, critical illness and the policies that you do, and we'll do more over the years, we'll expand it, of course we will. But the critical cover that we're talking about at the moment just felt like something that was timely. I'm really passionate, actually, that we talk to people about this, but that real stories are had. And our role, I guess, as an institute is not to fix any of that because we can't. I wish we could, but we can't. I wish we could. But it's actually to help people through that if they face it, and that is really the trigger for getting in contact with you, and therefore a great opportunity now for you to talk to us and the people that are watching about the product. What is it? How does it help? Why should people consider it?
Well, the main two, especially if you're a self-employed, let's say kitchen fitter, for example, and you have to get out of bed in the morning, you have to go and do your job to earn money and get by. If your biggest risk is illness and accident, to that financial tap turning off. So when that turns off, like you've experienced, Alan, that 3 years is where do you go from there? And listen, it's not going to affect the whole scenario, the whole process of your treatment and stuff, but it makes life slightly easier.
One less thing to worry about.
One less thing to worry about. From a financial aspect, I'm not using up all the savings that I've worked my whole career to build up and leaving that pot.
Yeah.
That gets, and you'd be surprised how quickly people lean on that, and that goes. It doesn't last long.
Don't last long. It's only going to go in one direction.
It didn't.
Yeah. So essentially, with a critical illness policy, if you're diagnosed with a defined critical illness condition as per the policy that you take out, and there are different levels of conditions covered. There's more comprehensive policies than others, and that is tailored towards the individual and budget-wise as well. But as soon as you're diagnosed with that condition that's covered, you're paid out a lump sum that's tax-free. So let's say in Alan's example, if you're on a salary of 35k a year, you might want to cover yourself for 5 times income.
Yeah.
So let's say 35 times 5. Yeah. Quick maths.
Yeah. 100k plus. Yeah.
So that would be paid out straight away as a lump sum as soon as you're diagnosed.
Yeah.
Now that hopefully from a financial perspective makes
one less thing to worry about.
Life a lot easier.
Yeah, that I imagine that would have taken a bit of pressure off there, mate, one way or another.
Anything would have taken a little bit of pressure off to start off with, but it wasn't the concentration of it. It was just carry on, not knowing it was going to be that long.
Yeah.
And what they told you.
And it's interesting what you said earlier when your mindset was, I just want to get back to work. And is that from you thinking, I need to get back to work? Yeah, a critical illness policy is not financial means tested.
Right.
So it's a big thing as well that some tradespeople and all other industries look at and think, how's that viewed? Income protection is slightly different. So we are protecting your income.
It's an actual amount.
That is financially means tested.
Right.
Typically we're covering up to 70% salary.
Sure.
How that works differently to critical illness cover, when you're diagnosed with a critical illness condition with critical illness cover, you're paid out a lump sum tax-free amount. With income protection, you're paid out a monthly benefit.
Got it.
Up to 70%.
Like covering 70% of your
covering
income.
your income. Yeah, essentially that. And it covers accident and illness as well. So if you can't work and fulfill your own occupation, however that means, however that looks, that's when the claim starts.
So would people typically have both policies? They would have the critical illness cover and the income protection cover to work in tandem. Is that the right thing to do, or
it can work well?
Are you over-egging the pudding there? What are we doing?
It can work well in tandem. It's everyone's different.
Yeah,
everyone's different.
Comes out of budget, I guess, as well.
It comes out of a budget. I mean, in terms of like, if you're a smoker, do you have children? What's your mortgage look like? What's your outgoings look like? Everyone there's no two people the same.
So what does it look like? What, if you're sitting there watching this at the moment, you think, that's all very good. How much, hundreds of pounds a month. What does it cost typically? I know obviously it depends on the circumstances, but what does it cost typically?
So I've got an example here to run through with you, and hopefully you find this useful. So I've used myself as a 30-year-old male non-smoker who's a kitchen fitter. Okay.
Now, if insurance don't work out, you can always swing again. It's absolutely no problem. We get you a good rate on registration. We got you covered.
I might be able to help you out too.
Now, assessing risk, what this looks like is there's a 48% chance of being unable to work for 2 months or more.
So if you're a 30-year-old non-smoking kitchen fitter, there's a 50-50 broadly chance that you're going to need cover for 2 months before
during your
retire.
Working career,
Wow.
If we look at your working career being up to 68 years old.
That's
quite
a lot.
2.
That's significant. Yeah, that is significant. Okay.
Yeah, and then, I mean, to protect that risk from an income perspective stance, so I've put kind of average UK salary here around £37,000 a year.
Yeah.
So we're covering up to £1,850 per month, which is the maximum benefit available.
Is that tax, by the way? So
no, this is paid tax-free.
Gotcha. Okay, so we're talking 1,800 quid in your...
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're probably taking them around about the 2.5k mark after tax.
Yeah.
If you're 100%.
Yeah.
If you're looking at it that way, this is 1,850. You're probably looking around about 73, 74%.
Yeah.
Top of my head.
Quite a lot. Yeah. Quite a lot. Okay.
So this policy here that I've got an example covers you for 2 years. So the claim period starts, let's say day 1, you put your claim in, you start getting paid out. That lasts for 2 years until you can't go back to work.
Yeah.
Now this is what we'd call a budget policy. This is a cheaper way to go.
Yeah.
Quite common. But you can do a 5-year claim period and a full-term claim period. So if your deemed retirement age would be 68,
it'll work up to that.
It works up to 68,
okay.
Exactly. Now, what's good with an income protection policy is where it's a 2-year claim period, if you have a full 2 years claim that's paid out, 5 years down the line, you're in the back garden and you're unlucky enough to fall off a ladder, you can make as many claims on that policy as you want.
Right, okay.
It lasts up to 2 years, or your claim period.
Yeah.
There are waiting periods known as deferred periods.
Just in case you've already fallen off the ladder, is that what you're talking about?
Well, this basically means that once you are off ill, off sick, off injured, there's a deferred period. So they start from 1 week all the way up to 1 year.
Okay.
Some insurers have longer.
Yeah.
So what that looks like, if you had a 4-week deferred period and you fell off the ladder in the back of the garden, you put your claim in, they say, right, after 4 weeks, we will start paying your income.
Got it. Yeah.
Or your monthly income that you're covered for.
Got it.
Now, something like this is £17.78 a month. So we're looking at probably
you
a
spend
coffee
more money
a week.
on tea and coffee that week, wouldn't you?
Kind of breakfast a week, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
your breakfast, you used to eat like horse.
Yeah, no, that's cut down now.
Is it cut down?
Certain things are not allowed. That's another conversation.
And again, this is something that I would call a bottom drawer insurance product.
So that's a bulk standard. This is going to help you out if you need it.
Yeah, this is something you don't have to look at every month, but it's a nice comfort blanket to know you've got that umbrella over your head.
Very good.
And this is not something that you would, for Tom, who's a 30-year-old kitchen fitter, that he'd take it and go, right, that's me done.
Yeah.
We would sit down with each member, each client, and build a picture and give a recommendation
based on them and their circumstances.
Exactly. Everyone's different,
and you can tweak the policies to suit certain individuals for certain different things.
Absolutely, they're absolutely bespoke for each individual, individual circumstances. So yeah, I mean, £17.78 a month. I know we laugh about it, but it really is.
But that made a difference,
a coffee a week, isn't it?
It is.
It would have made a lot of difference.
It is. So again, if I'm hoping that people are still tuned in at this point. We've had a really good conversation here, but I'm appreciating we're right through at the back end of it now. But the relationship with BIFIS and you guys, if there are people at the back end of this watching this and going, do you know what, maybe I should give this a look. What do they do next? You know, how do they get and have this conversation with you or one of your colleagues?
So we've built a platform with BIFIS. I believe it's on the BIFIS website. I think there's some email links.
It's actually hot off the press. It's actually on the BIFIS app now. So we launched a mobile app, relaunched the mobile app with lots of new features very recently. And if you go into the sort of benefits area of the app, you'll see that you're now featuring on it. So that would be a good first sort of starting point.
So yeah, we've built a platform on our website as well. That link will take them to our website, where it's as simple as leave your name, your email address.
Brilliant.
We'll reach out. We'll get an appointment set in the diary.
Yeah.
And we'll get the ball rolling from there.
And is it obviously based down up in Cambridge from here, but let's just say we've got some of our Glasgow members going, well, I don't fancy, as lovely as Tom is, I'm not going out to Cambridge for the day. Is the meeting that you have, is it an online meeting? Is it over the phone? How do you facilitate that for people that are further afield?
Yeah, it can be a phone call, Teams call, Zoom call.
Nice.
Okay. Efficient for everyone, really.
I think people should. I genuinely believe people should consider protection for themselves and for their families in times when they need it. And we're now in a partnership with these guys where we're giving you access to this. We know that they're going to offer a good product and service to you. And I think at the very least, you should inquire and find out and see what that cover and protection looks like. I think now's the time. Don't leave these things, because you never know what's around the corner, mate, eh?
No, you don't. Never know what's around the corner. It creeps up on you.
It does creep up on you. Look, Alan, I want to say thank you. Oh, I got a bit emotional then. I want to say thank you. I want to thank you for a lot of things, but for today, for being really open and honest, mate, because I think there's a lot of moral courage to just tell it how it is, mate. We're not good at it as blokes, are we?
No, we're not.
Need to do it a bit more.
Yes, mate.
Well, look, hopefully you've started a bit of a trend, and hopefully this podcast becomes the vehicle for that. We want to cover the topics that people don't ordinarily cover, and this is a good opportunity. And Tom, I'm really pleased that you're on board. I'm pleased that we're connecting you with this new audience, and I really, really hope that you and your business can support people through. Hopefully, never to use your policies, but to at least have that peace of mind that if they do need it, there's some help there at that critical point in their life. Tom, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Al,
Thank you.
as ever.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate
Cheers.
it. Cheers. Thank you. And look, what I will say to the rest of you, keep an eye on what we're trying to achieve here. This podcast is the first of many. We're really proud to be bringing this sort of content to you. But it relies on you. It relies on your feedback, and it also relies on your participation. So if there is something out there that you want to talk about, it doesn't necessarily have to be challenges that you faced in life. It could be some of the good bits that you're working on, some areas that that you might be concerned about your industry. Then this is the platform for it. So yeah, get in contact and we'll hopefully speak to you soon. But for everybody else, hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. It was a great conversation, and albeit a long one, I think it was a lot of ground to cover there. So thank you, gentlemen, and thanks for watching.